Twitter went in a frenzy late Sunday, when President Trump abruptly sent an all-caps warning to Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, threatening consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before, saying, "We are being taken advantage of and I don't like it." President Trump has proposed new tariffs for all imported Chinese goods. This would be a mistake. Trump is right to worry about China's illiberal and unfair trade practices, but retaliating against its state-directed economy with our own state direction of the economy is not the answer. Ma, that's her preferred pseudonym, fled to Turkey in 2012. After her home was raided by the Iranian government and her older son was imprisoned, Mana concluded that fleeing was the only way that she and her younger son would be safe. After 2.5 years living as refugees in Turkey, she was accepted by the U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program and allowed to replant her life in the U.S. Shall I tell you the worst part of the Trump-Putin fiasco? It's not the president's disgraceful words in Helsinki. It's not his insistence on some sort of moral equivalence between the United States and the Kremlin kleptocracy. It's not the pathetic way he tried to row back from what he said. Seriously? A double negative? With 24 hours at their disposal, that's the best that White House spin doctors could come up with. Rep. Carlos Curbelo, our Florida, on Monday will become the first Republican to introduce national carbon pricing legislation in nearly a decade, which is prompting an effort by people in his own party to kill it. Jerome Powell is about as prepared to bear criticism from President Trump over his conduct of monetary policy as any Federal Reserve chairman could possibly be. President Trump sent an all-caps warning to Iranian President Hassan Rouhani on Sunday, threatening consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. President Trump plans to help set the conditions for a successful revolution by the Iranian people against the Islamic Republic, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Sunday. French President Emmanuel Macron reportedly informed President Trump that he read his book, The Art of the Deal, while pushing back on trade negotiations. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes says it is time to eliminate redactions, less than a day after the Justice Department released top-secret documents related to the surveillance warrants used to spy on former Trump campaign aide Carter Page. A second Republican lawmaker has come out to say President Trump was manipulated by Russian President Vladimir Putin after the two leaders met in Finland. Former FBI Director James Comey's advice to Democrats not to embrace the socialist left as a way to revolt against President Trump was met with swift reprisals Sunday on Twitter. President Trump's approval rating reached an all-time high this month, buoyed by strong support from Republicans. The National Rifle Association, along with the Second Amendment Foundation, sued the city of Seattle on Friday over its safe storage gun law, arguing it violates Washington state's 35-year-old preemption statute. The weekend release of a highly redacted version of the FBI's application for a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrant to wiretap one-time Trump foreign policy advisor Carter Page has renewed the argument over the Nunes memo, the brief report produced by House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rep. Devin Nunes detailing problems in the application. From the time of the memo's release in February, Democrats and some in the press have denounced it as a collection of lies and mischaracterizations. On Saturday night, the denouncing started again. The only thing the newly released FISA documents show is that Republicans have been lying for months, the lefty think tank Center for American Progress said in a typical response. Former FBI Director James Comey offered unprompted political advice Sunday, urging Democrats to not become too liberal as a means of revolting against President Trump.